Okay guys, so I'm using my proper camera today, which I have had for years, but I just never really used. So I've got it out and dusted it off, and it's working fine. So it's much better video quality than my mobile phone. And plus I can hook it around my neck, so while I'm filming I can also do things with both hands really. Okay, so I've given the glass a little bit of a clean with just simply lemon juice and water mixed together. So basically I filled this with about 100 ml of water. Doesn't need that much because I'm only doing the windows. So a little bit of water at the bottom, about 100 ml, and then chop a lemon in half, squeeze the juice into here, give it a good shake and a pump, and then off you go. And then you just swizzle a bit of the juice onto the windows and wipe off with a paper towel, and that is how it's done. It's as simple as that basically. And look how much cleaner it is looking. It's really good for getting off watermarks, bits of residue and that sort of thing. So yeah, so now really the terrarium is set for winter. Mr. Jinx is still in brumation, and I can see him being in that state for the coming months, possibly into March even, possibly. I'm not saying definitely, because who knows with him, he may just pop out one day and start eating again or whatever. But he has been in semi-brumation since the end of October, early November. And I've only seen him out twice during that time. And the last time, which was roughly, I don't know, about a month ago, I think, 5 weeks even, pushing 6 weeks, he came out and he had a really good long drink. He was drinking solidly for about half an hour, just by licking the water droplets off the leaves of the plants and the rock. And then he went back into hiding, and he is doing okay. I have checked. I have a little mirror here that I use to sort of pop up just to see how he's doing. He's basically hiding in that hide over there on his cool side. But yeah, so I'm not doing anything now maintenance wise for probably a month. I'm gonna give it a month and just let it settle, let it see what happens. Not even water the plants during that time, because these succulents had a little dropsy of water the other day. That's all they need. The chamomile plant I took out, it's still on my windowsill here. It's not doing very well, guys, so I don't know if that'll survive. So it's not looking too bad without it anyway. The wormwood is doing fine, the helianthus is doing fine, the sedum Cape Blanco is doing fine, the asparagus fern is also doing fine. Look how it's growing still, even after giving it a haircut, it's still growing. Yeah, the ficus in the back there, and the snake plant, and we've got the carex, so they're all doing fine. And also we've got the mint, which is doing great as well. So nothing needs to be done, guys, seriously. I stopped feeding back at the end of October, so I haven't added any more food in there. There's still one or two little bugs kicking around. See the odd cricket, the odd darkling beetle, a mealworm popping its head out. But it's generally gone quiet, so it's kind of like winter sort of shutdown period. But the lighting, these are the LED lights and the UVB. So they are on, they're set to a timer, and they're set to mimic the hours of sunlight over in Pakistan. So they're on for 10 hours a day in December, and I may put them on for a little less once we reach the middle of December and towards the solstice, and then come the end of December, early January, tweak them up a little bit again. But generally I don't need to do anything, okay? So let's just have a little look at the current temperature and humidity in the terrarium. So the thermostat dial is set to 19 degrees Celsius, so it's set right down. In the spring it's up to 30, and the summer, unless we have a heat wave and I need to turn it down. But yeah, it's set to 19 at the moment, and as a result of that, because the room temperature is a little bit higher than that, the actual halogen is off. But it will come on in the morning for sunrise, and sometimes comes on in the evening for sunset. So, but generally, let's have a look at the heat now through my app. Okay, so that was taken about an hour ago, the last reading, so let me just refresh. Now, I have recently been opening and closing these doors while I was cleaning, so it will take a little bit of time to settle, but just to give you a bit of an idea of the ambient temperature and humidity in the enclosure. So unless something major happens really exciting, I'm not going to do anything now to this. I'm going to give it 2 weeks, maybe have a little check-in, and then give it another 2 weeks after that. But it's basically we're sort of on quiet period now. Okay, so arid zone, we've got 23.8 degree ambient temperature with a humidity of 56.1%. Cool zone, 24.5 degrees ambient temperature with a humidity of 63.8%. Okay, arid zone, cool zone. So the cool zone at this point, with the halogen being off, is actually warmer than the arid zone, the warm side. So the design of this side is to be kind of less humid, so drier, which is why the succulents are doing well. The soil is also more, it's a mix of earth mix arid and excavator clay sand. So the soil is generally lighter and well drained. So the succulents like that, yeah? Whereas over on the cool side, the soil is a little bit more dense and rich and more humid, which suits the plants over on that side, okay? So, yeah, the plants have had a good haircut, cut back, pruning, whatnot, tidied up. I've got some dehumidifier, let's get my words out straight, dehumidifier bags there, bamboo charcoal, which I bought for like a couple of quid from B&M's. So I've got one there on the warm side. I've got my fake moon there, which comes on occasionally. I've got a couple more dehumidifier bags on that side, which do draw in some moisture from the air in the terrarium. The fans for ventilation I've got over in the corner there on the warm side. So the purpose of that is to ventilate that area to reduce the humidity a little bit, especially on the warm side, to mimic that dryness of the kind of rocky, kind of desert terrain that they experience in the wild. Then I've got my UVB tube placed here. This used to be over here on the side, but I've moved it to the front because I wasn't sure. I think the distance on the rock there, between the rock surface and the UVB, I think it was too close. So for safety reasons, really, I just moved it to the front. And then I've got a Jungle Dawn LED light there by the side of this main LED plant grow light. Then I've got another jungle dawn strip light here at the front. And then a dehumidifier which I've just placed there, which was on the inside, but it was a mess and faff to unhook, to recharge and whatnot. So I've just placed it on top. I've also got another dehumidifier here. So, and I am testing another dehumidifier. This little gadget here, which potentially I could place somewhere inside the terrarium if need be. But I'm testing it because I'm not quite sure really how it works. I mean, the colour of the silicon crystals in there signify... So a lighter colour signify that they're still wet. And then when they turn orange, it's supposed to mean that they're dry. So when it's dry, I can place this to draw out the moisture from the air, and then when it gets wet, it's time to recharge it again. But I noticed last night when I charged this overnight and looked at it this morning that it was really wet, so it kind of did it the opposite way round to what I thought, you know, how it would work. But anyway, so I'm just testing that one. But you know, that aside, I don't really need to worry about this because I think it's all fine and set now for the winter. So that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, I'll do another review video in a fortnight's time, and but I'm not going to literally touch this now unless an emergency or something happens where I intervene. But I mean, I don't need to do anything now to this for at least a couple of weeks. So I will post another update then. Okay guys, see you soon.